Good morning, my friends. Episode number 86 of the live day trading stream here. Hope you guys are all doing well. It's a Friday. A Friday morning for myself. What is Gold doing? What is Gold doing today? Yo, good to see you. What's happening in the chat? Let's get straight to work, my friends. Yes. We are a bit earlier, like yesterday as well. Let's see who we have with us. Georgelina, hi, good morning. Fuji, good morning, my friend. How are you doing? Mix, the man. M2M Forex is back. The man himself is back here. Derek Legacy. Hey, man. Derek, what's up? Good to see you. Adobe, good to see you, man. Mohammed, good to see you. Yes. D-Lab. Good morning, my friend. Yeah. Gonzalo, as always, love it. Hope you enjoyed the session yesterday. Way Wonderman, good to see you. The Cypher. Hey, the Cypher is back as well. Okay, the fam is back as always. Yeah, let's make it an amazing stream. We have to talk about gold right now. Gold dropped. It broke below the value area high of the previous day yesterday during the London Open. Not Asia, unfortunately. Asia was very trappy in a range. We already kind of saw that coming, right? London did it though. London made the move. And now we are back down again. And we're pulling back once again. And there is a chance we're going to push down towards higher time in the month. So we're going to talk about all of that stuff in a second here. I look forward to it. And yeah, let's see if we can end the week strong. It will be nice before I head to Ibiza in a couple hours. Okay. Let's make it happen, my friends. I can't let you go. welcome back again to a new episode here. Okay, episode number 86 since we started again 4.5 months ago. Damn, 86 episodes further, and here we are. Trading gold every day together in the Asia session. How funny is that? How interesting is that? Anyways, hope you guys are doing well here. We have to go do a little recap after yesterday because there was no trading day yesterday. After the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we had trades. Yesterday we had no trade. And yeah, we had to talk about why specifically here. So let's go over that. And yeah, actually look at the market in general because yeah, we were definitely in some area of resistance right now, right? We talked about it already when we talked about it yesterday, the higher time frame resistance. We were in that supply zone right there, right? Clear resistance right there on the daily. Yesterday we tapped into that, but at the same time, while we were in that resistance on the daily right here, or you could also say the 4 hour, it was also a 4 hour zone right there. It was actually very clean right there, right? 4 hour zone right there. A rally base drop. We love that. We love supply and demand on the higher time frame. Super nice. Went to the 15-minute time frame, right? We opened the session breaks and you could see that then today or during the Asia session around here, right? That was the Asia session. Pretty much the Asia session. We were kind of flat in a range, etc. And as long as we were trading inside of the value area right there, okay, which is this area, the value area high to the value area low, we were kind of non-decisive because of the fact that we were still operating inside of the value area of yesterday, okay? So what did we do? We tapped into the point of control. In the very low, we bounced from it, but before that, actually, we bounced from that in the morning, remember? We came up, we had that huge fake out, and then price dropped aggressively. If we took that trade long, we would have been screwed, clearly, right? But then price came back down, and it seemed to look for follow-through, but it came back down one more time, and then it started to range again all the way until the London Open, okay? And then the London Open came, and the London Open allowed us to break outside of this value area, exactly around the London Open. And that gave us actually, on the 15-minute time view, you can see it very, very clearly, our first closure outside of the value area, right there. Yeah, and then it was just a breakthrough moment because that was the moment when we actually left the building. So forget about the lows, forget about the highs, just look at the value area of the previous day in this case. You could see the moment we broke below that, and we closed below that, we saw that follow through right there, and we got rejected from the previous daily value area low after that. And then price dropped further to the downside, right? And then it went hard. From there, we had one big wave to the downside all the way until the New York session. Yeah, around 700 pips to the downside pretty much, right? That was a big ass move right there. But it was already way past our stream. This was all in our stream, just a quick kind of a choppy condition right there until the London came, okay? So the question is, what will the today do? Where do we stand? Now, before we go there, actually, let's go back into the higher time frame again. And let's see what we actually did, because this is actually not really a good sign, right? The fact that you get rejected from the daily supply zone right there, right? On the higher time frame, keep in mind, don't forget this. We are still operating in a range, okay? We're still flat. It might look like we're in a downtrend, but in the end, we're still flat pretty much right now at this current moment right here. We are coming down, yes. But at the same time, we are still flat. We were not able to break the highs here. So for people that are saying, oh, this is the bullish reversal, because we break the trend, or we break that trend line right here, that doesn't mean we're bullish, okay? We're not bullish. We're still in a range. We're still flat in a range right now at the moment. So in order for it to become quote unquote bullish, you need to break out of that range. And you need to pull back and hold that support in that range and then look for the content base to the upside right there. Right, but for now, we're getting rejected at the top. And that's pretty much what we're seeing right now at the moment. So what happened is the following. We had our daily supply zone. And then in our daily supply zone, we created more resistance, more people entering sells, higher time frame, again, pushing us into selling our positions right there. That's actually not what you want to see if you want to see the price of gold coming up. To be honest, that is actually a bearish signal. Even if price would come up again today, then this is still major resistance again. And it's actually a new zone where we could find resistance again. And we could be looking for something like this again, right there. Okay, all that makes sense, because this is something that we have to pay attention to from higher time frame perspective. Okay, then at the same time, we do have a major zone sitting right below here. Do you see that? Right below there. We have a major area of demand as well, sitting at this current moment right there. Okay, so we have demand, we have supply, and we are in a range, a larger range right now at the moment. We can call this a range for sure, right? We're not able to break highs, we're not able to break lows. So we're pretty much inside of a range. So what you're gonna do is, you're gonna look for longs at the lows, so you're gonna look for shorts at the highs. That's it. Once the FOMC comes, next week on a Wednesday, I think that's the moment for us to say, hey, is that going to be the catalyst of a breakout? Is that going to finally leave? No, is gold going to leave the range during the FOMC? That's the big question, right? Is the gold going to make the big move during the FOMC in anticipation of understanding what the interest rate decision will be? That's the big question mark for now here. If price does break down, great. If it holds inside of the range, even better. But this is a major area of support as well that we just simply cannot neglect right now at the current moment. Okay, that's the higher time frame. Let's go to the lower time frame. Okay, and let's again look at the swing right now, because we kind of had a big expansion to the downside. We had like our previous daily level. That's one way. The other one is the swing high to the swing low right there. Okay, let's actually take maybe back towards this area. Yeah, you can see that we're already facing a lot of resistance at the point of control. You see that? Right now at the moment. A lot of resistance here. But we are pretty much flat at the moment right now. We need to make some sort of decision, some sort of breakout. But what I really like, to be honest with you guys, is if you really look at the higher time frame right now, and we really understand that we're actually in that flat range at the moment, okay? And we have major support sitting here, and we have major resistance sitting here, okay? Wouldn't it be better to wait for price to get down there and to look for longs? Right there. What do you guys think? That's my personal opinion. Just pretty basic range trading on the higher time frame. Using supply and demand on the higher time frame. This is a major area of demand. We saw a major expansion here. And on the 15-minute, right, we are dealing with what we call a range right there. Right? So we have this range. But within that range, we have a range. The ranges, we call it. Okay? So anyways, we have that range, that consolidation and an expansion. We pull back or we continued. At some point, we have to pull back towards this area. And if you do, then we could find some potential support inside of that area. And I would be much rather looking for buys there. Trading the bounce, okay, rather than trying to look and predict, like right now, the moment inside of this area, because it's pretty much flat, okay? And what we could see is that we could see a squeeze and then the major move or something like that, back up again, okay? I would actually not be surprised if we'd see something like this, heading to the 20s. The problem is, do you want to trade towards the 20s, right? That's kind of the problem. Well, the problem that I'm facing right now is this, okay? If you take the whole week, we are in a low volume node, okay? So we have to acknowledge this. We are in an area where we are a low volume node, so we have support here too. That's why we're holding here, okay? Just so you know, that is exactly the reason why we are actually holding in this area right now at the moment, okay? All that makes sense. So we're getting a bit suppressed right now at the moment here. We are forming another range. If we break out, great. To the upside, I will look for longs in the pullback, okay? If we break down, I will look for longs in the retracement, okay? I'm pretty much looking for longs today, regardless, even though we have been dropping and dropping and dropping. Just because of the higher time frame. Follow the higher time frame when things are unclear. But again, once we are up here and we do pull back, yeah, I have to look for shorts, because it's not a good sign and not a good look for gold if new supply gets created inside of supply, and keep in mind, the trend itself is still down. We haven't broken it, even though we are pretty much flat and balanced at the moment right there. Okay. So yeah, little pullback scenario today. Hopefully we could see that. That would be nice. I don't really care which pullback. Is it the breakout now, or is it going to be the push down first and we take out the low volume node and we tap into the larger demand at the 20s? Honestly, I don't really mind. to be honest. For me, it's fine if you break out because we will break out of this high volume zone here, this high value node, and then we'll look for the pullback and I'll look for a long right there, okay? If you break down, different story. I'll look for the long at the 20s. That's it. Yeah. For now, it's longs. If you go up, it's probably going to be shorts again. Like, the conclusion is we just need to make a decision, okay? As long as gold stays flat or is pretty much doing something like this, keep in mind, we are in this momentum since, you could say here, okay? June 24th. And today is what? July 24th, okay? June 24th, July 24th. That's pretty much what? 30 trading days, okay? It's 30 trading days pretty much. All right, guys? So take that in consideration right there. 30 trading days that we have been in that range right now. We have not been able to break the June lows as well as not the July highs, the opening highs of the monthly candle, pretty much. Okay? And we're trading within that. So there are both buys and sells inside of a range. I would not be too biased yet, in my opinion, unless it's a daily bias, if that makes sense. Okay? Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens when the FOMC comes out and if you can finally leave the range, finally make a move, and then we'll probably see a big shockwave into that other direction. Okay? So for now, let's stay focused and focus on the internal structure. Okay? Ignacio says, hello, bro. Good evening. Today, for me, with a lot of humility, it's going to look for liquidity and manipulation around the 451 approximately. And from there, it drops sharply down to 26. That would be nice if that's what you're saying, because that will be totally fine, because then we can look for longs at the 20s. At the 20s, yes. Well, we need to see a move right now. This in the middle right now for me is just all, random. Okay, because it could just drop, it could just break out, it could do whatever it wants to do. Let's anticipate on the first volume that's hopefully going to come in soon, and then actually utilize that in order for us to take some action here. Okay, because for now we are pretty much inside of the lows, and the real volume has not come in yet. We're just pretty much inside of this area right now at the moment. Okay, yes, sir. This is how a weekly cycle looks like, by the way. You can see it every time when we do the ASIN sessions now. We have like 3 days that are really clean, when the market moves aggressively, when the market starts to push. And then we have around 2 days, 1 or 2 days that are pretty much flat with lower volume, more ranging markets. But that's how the weekly cycle tends to look like anyways. The move in liquidity will come at 9, okay. That could be the case. Okay. That could be the case. I finally wake up at 8. I was like, you know what? Let me stream it around 8 now, 8-ish. For you guys, I'm earlier, so I don't miss out on the big moves, right? The first volume could be just a manipulation set, go back, down or up. Let's see. We are at a low volume node. In case we do break out here, let it hopefully be the big one. And let's see if we can then utilize the range itself as a area of support. It depends how far or how high we break. I think first real resistance will be at, let's see. Yeah, we don't have that much resistance until the 40, until the 92 pretty much, I think. Yeah, we have the daily, the 92, yeah. We don't have that much resistance until the 92. Okay. We need to break above the 61 though, which makes sense because that means that we will fall back into this swing and we'll find resistance there. That is kind of the breakout that we need to see. Break above the 61 and then pull back into the 50, 55 or something like that. 54, 55, and then maybe look for longs. Or price breaks down and then we'll look for longs anyways. Do you go to Ibiza for the clubs? No. Actually, not really. I have a family there. Okay, so the first impulse is relatively good. But this is, we'll see when the real move comes into play. I think it will be what, in, I don't know, 10 minutes? Maybe? Before the 9, right? Before the 9. Lorenzo, I don't see your indicators in TradingView. Do you sell them? No, I give them away, pretty much. I give them away, and I think I will do today as well. Because it's Friday, and I'm going to be gone for a week. You guys know that, right? I'm going to be gone for 1 week. 1 week a year. Give your boys some time off. 1 week a year. Okay? Feels like a century in this space, honestly. Taking a 1 week break in this industry feels like forever. Like it always does. Lorenzo, do you know what happened about a running event in Bali? They reject locals to join. Well, number one, I don't like running. Okay? I don't like running at all. I'm not a big runner. Personally, that's my personal opinion. I don't like running. Okay? It's not that it doesn't help me. It never helped me with boxing either, running. What I like to do is, you know, I like boxing. I like stamina, you know, working on my stamina. That's great. Okay, from that perspective, more explosive movements. Okay, so I'm not really in that running scene here in Bali. I know it's a big scene. Okay, it's like Tinder in real life, pretty much. Right? That's kind of what the running scene is all about. No one gives a shit about running here in Bali. If you understand my point, no one really cares about running. That's for sure. Okay. Anyways. We did run to RTP. Yes, that's true. And I stop loss as well many times before in the past. But yes, true. That's true. Hey, Isabella, how are you? Good to see you. Always here from South Africa, Sibus. What's up, bro? How do you analyze with the RSI? This is not the RSI. It looks like it, but it's not. It's not the RSI. It is not the RSI. All right. Logic with the areas, please. Okay. Low volume note of the current week. We have already so many trading days right now. We have the Monday completed. Tuesday completed. Wednesday, completed. Thursday, completed. Today's Friday. Okay, so we have 4 completed trading days already. Inside of that, there is a lot of volume traded. So if you use the volume profile from the left to the right, according to this week, you can see where the most volume was traded and where the least volume was traded. Most volume was traded around the bottom in the range here. Okay, the least volume was actually traded there. Okay, inside of this area. And here, where we are right now. And why are we holding support here? That's how it works. That's how it works. Low volume node, an inefficiency right there, or a failed auction, and we are holding that support. Yeah, we're holding that support right there. The only problem is the trend is down, and we need to break and fall back into the value area of this swing. Okay, this swing right there, swing high to swing low. We need to break inside of this area, okay, and hold that support there. So we can look for longs towards the point of control. And we could look for a long at this area towards the 90s in case you want to pull back today. But it could easily be that price rejects and we stay in a range. We stay flat. Okay. So that would be a bit unfortunate if that would be the case. If we would be ending up in a range again, like yesterday, while we had an amazing Tuesday, an amazing Wednesday, we sniped the pullback. And of course, a decent Monday. We had quite a good push as well on a Monday. And then on a Thursday, we ended up flat. And on a Friday, maybe. We'll see what happens. But this is common. It's usually a 3 against 2. Like 3 good trading days, Asia. And then 2 are like more like, yeah, consolidating, ranging. More undecisive until later on. And we all know from Fridays, right? That usually the Fridays are... the New York Fridays are usually the craziest. How come LVN sometimes show some resistance, but mostly just rips through there? They don't just mostly rip through there. That's not true. They really don't. Okay? They really don't. But when they get created, yeah, this is how they get created, right? So they are created by some sort of imbalance. Now, the difference between a fair value gap or an imbalance and a low volume node is that you can pull it back from a week ago and utilize it, right? This is a good example. We tapped into it right here in a low volume node, and we actually held that in support so nicely right around there. You see that? Very, very clean. It's actually where we are right now. Still. So that imbalance is something that you can spot, right? And from the volume profile from the previous week or the week before that. And instead of looking at just the specific previous candle, where if you would simply look at structure, you would say, oh, there's nothing there. But then you look back and you're like, oh shit, yes. Okay, now it makes sense. But yeah, they tend to hold in the right context, of course, always. Right? It's not a given. You need to confirm, you need to react. But number one, we have some support here, clearly. Look at that, 1, 2, 3. In this case, we cannot neglect this at all. We need to wait for the breakout though. Or we need to wait for price to tap and break it actually then, and then get into this higher time frame range. But preferably let's just break out. It will be better. It will be easier to trade it as well if you just come up right now. Lorenzo, have you ever considered using the Fib? I think that's your question, right? The Fibonacci and the Vine profile together. Yeah, I have. I have been testing it a lot as well. Yeah, it can work as an additional layer. It can definitely work as an additional layer. But if I would have to prioritize one over the other, then I would still go for the Vine profile. Yeah. Do you have a video explaining how to put your Vine profile correctly on the chart? If no, could you do it now? I have a video on that. This is exactly why we created this, because I got so many questions around this. Yeah, you can find it there, man. In the Telegram. There are 2 videos now. Okay, number 3 is coming. Video number 1. Lesson 1. Okay. Time-based versus structure-based Vine profiles. Okay. You click on it, and it leads you to a private video. It's unlisted, okay? It's not on my channel publicly. It is just if you have the link, okay? So yeah, learn about this time-based versus structure-based. It's all in there. And trust me, I'm not into editing. I'm not into that making it look perfect. I'm just giving you the sauce, okay? That's it. Straight up yapping, giving you the sauce. That's what I like to do, okay? So take it or leave it. 30 minutes, time-based versus structured-based Vine profiles. Lesson 1. Okay? That's a good start, I would say. That's a good beginning. See you. Why wouldn't you sell here? I mean, why wouldn't I sell here? I think it's a bit too random to sell here. Especially at support here. No. Not liking it. Not liking a sell here. Unless you're scalping, I mean, I don't know. Like, what do you see? You want to sell here? Yeah. What do you see here? For me, no. Because I know that the volume is going to come in like 9 minutes. And or at least at 9, usually we see a little bit of injection of volume, right? And anything is possible. I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe just gonna tank, but I don't know. Not a big fan. Not a big fan of this. Yesterday, yeah, yesterday we absolutely avoided a major fake out. I mean, it didn't look like a major fake out if you look at it here, but if you saw yesterday's stream, it was a nasty one. It was a nasty one. Yeah. It really gave people the impression that we're going to find support, react, and just continue to go back up again. And then we saw the major flush to the downside instead. That was a nasty one. So sometimes avoiding bad trades is also a win, in my opinion. Especially if you're already up for the week. If you already made money this week. From a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then avoiding a trade on a Thursday like that is actually good. It's a good thing. But there was a good trade after after that, and that was actually the London Open. London Open was actually very good. It was a very good trade. And this is why we use the volume profile of each day. And we mark out this box, the value high and the value low. Okay. The value high and the value low. And if you know that you are in higher time frame resistance right here, because this was daily supply, okay, a daily supply zone, you kind of wait for the confirmation, right? Because what happens if, you know, you stay in that supply zone forever? Yeah. Or what happens if you go through it? Well, a big thing that you can look at is you can look at the volume profile on the lower time frame. And if you then break below the value area, which is this highlighted blue zone, and you close below that, right there, then that is a quote unquote sell signal. You're leaving the value area after tapping into higher time frame resistance. And in this case, you saw what happened, right? Price just tapped into that zone and it just flushed for the rest of the session. But it was in the New York, of course. London session, sorry. Let's look at some order flow as well here really quickly. We haven't checked this yet. See what's happening on the 15 minute. Now, I hope you understand why this is as flat as it can be. Wow, that is flat. That is flat. That is flat. Okay. Most volume, 210. Okay, so closure above that will be nice. A closure above that will be nice, of course. Closure above that, above the 50, 52. And then I think we'll find resistance at 61, but closure above the 52 could mean a long though. Like I would not be surprised. Or closure above the 51.5 and then to the 61. That is already like 100 pips. Stop loss on break even at the 61, and then if we see follow through and we get accepted inside of this area, I would take profits though. But if we get accepted inside of that area, then we might run to back to the point of control. That is the long scenario. There is no short scenario right now at the moment for me, unless we do pull back, or we actually no, we do pull back. That's the only way. I would look at shorts again at the moment, because the higher time frame and us being just right here and clearly having that resistance there now and clearly having that support there now. So don't really want to short into that support. And even though people say, yeah, the trend is bearish, it is. But we have not broken the June lows, okay? We don't have broken any of the previous month lows yet. That could still happen. I mean, it's still possible. There's still a week to go. And keep in mind, if it happens, I would not be surprised if it will happen next week with the FOMC. But we need something big. I feel like we need like a big catalyst right now for us to really break out of this this range. Okay, to take out the lows or to actually break to the upside or whatever, right? But for now, we need a catalyst. We need something bigger. Fundamentally to say, hey, this is why we're gonna go. Okay? Cesar, thank you for the videos in Telegram. They've really helped me a lot. I did everything on my prop account. I was down 300 and yesterday I made 800. Nice. Nice, man. Good to hear that. Hey man, love your content. Can you show the seasonal cycle indicator on the daily? Oh, you're talking about the future scope? Oh, yes. Right here. Look at that beauty, right? Look at how the seasonals align always so perfectly with gold. So beautiful. Yeah, it's true. Predicted the bottom. But it's pretty much flat. At the moment. All right, 30 seconds for the open. At least the open. The Asian volume, hopefully. Toker says you humbled me hard today, man. That conversation yesterday was crazy. Which one? Okay, reaction. Look at the dollar. Dollar is dropping. That is not good. That is not good. The dollar dropping. In this case. Because why is gold not breaking higher, right? That's always the question. Why is gold not breaking down, not breaking higher? Oil dropping as well. Ah, Toker, yes, of course, man. The session, obviously. Talking about so many things. Yes, supply in a month. That was a nice session. Thank you for attending. Appreciate that. Of course. Oil is dropping. The dollar is dropping pretty hard, and gold is dropping. This is normal against the 10-year yield is dropping. The Nasdaq is going up. Markets are a little bit off as always before the FOMC or around the FOMC. Yeah, if this 4-hour candle can flip, right, while being in this 15-minute low volume low that we talked about, and we actually can flip bullish, then will be considered pretty decent, especially if you can break above these highs here. Okay, all those highs. Actually, this is the main zone that we need to break, by the way. It's this level. Okay, it's the top wick of the 1 p.m. candle. Okay, so the 1 a.m. candle for me, it's that wick. It's that level that we need to break. The top wick of that candle. That's where these major orders came in, and that's where we have not been able to break that level since. And that is probably this zone, okay? It is this zone actually. It is actually this area. What's your bias in this one? We talked about it. We talked about it. Yeah, low volume node is still getting supported here. We took out the lows here and that low volume node is still holding. Okay. We're still in that area. Still getting supported. Let's go to the 5 minutes. We have to go to the 5 minutes right now. Yeah, let's see if it's going to be a balanced session today or if it's going to be an unbalanced session today. A balanced session is when market stays pretty much inside of this range. Okay. In terms of we just have supply and demand like supported equally. So sellers and buyers are holding each other balanced. Okay, we're operating in that fair value of this range. Okay. And it's actually super easy because you just can mark out this area. And then it's just, I love the volume profile so much because it just shows me where the most volume has been traded, okay? And at some point, we will be looking at this range, right? We mark out this area. We mark this as an area of consolidation, let's say. And if we can leave this, I will be looking for longs for sure, right? That's just an easy, leaving the fair value, looking for longs, looking for the continuations, and then targeting the highs again, or at least not the highs, but targeting the mid of that swing from yesterday, at least. Okay, around the 6 a.m. candle. For now, we are still inside of it, getting rejected at it, and also holding at the low volume node that we talked about from the week. We have been holding there since, you could already see the low volume here. You see that? Huge gap inside of the volume traded. Huge gap here. We have a gap there, we have a gap there. So if you mark out a gap here and we say, you know what, let's just put off a zone. We turn that into a zone and we go to the right. Then, hey, we're holding support there. Right? We're literally holding support there. And we're unable to break it right now. Okay? So then we use the volume profile of the current range. And then we look at the value area. And we say, okay, we have the very low here. We have the very high here. Can we break above the very high? Can we leave the fair value? Then I think that we could set up for longs, right? And we call that the CERC play. So a consolidation, expansion, retracement, continuation play. That is one way. Why? Because on the higher time frame, we are pretty much inside of a larger range. Just keep doing my analysis, keep repeating myself, but it's just important. Right here. Yeah, we're finding support there, we're finding resistance there. So I would be looking at shorts at the top and I would be looking at longs at the bottom. That's pretty much it. Don't really want to overcomplicate the ranges. Okay, now what happens if we do take out the low volume node? Even then, okay, even then, which can happen, we would still be ending up tapping into higher time frame support again immediately at the 20s. And I would go long at 20s as well, right? I would go long here also. So I don't know. I would be just looking at longs today. Any pullback inside of this area, I will be looking for shorts or whatever the case may be. But for now, I'm much more looking at longs and shorts until we get proven otherwise, right? Now, if the New York session comes in and the New York session goes bananas and we break out, amazing. Or the FOMC comes next week and we break out, great. Until then, it's pretty clear that we are operating in fair value right now on the higher time frame, and we are not able to break anything since, yeah, it was created the 18th of June, right? The top at the 18th of June, pretty much, with the monthly candle high at the 5th of July and the monthly candle, the previous monthly candle low of the 29th of June. So we're still pretty much inside of it. So even though when you look at trend lines, and this is why I'm not a big fan of trend lines, I know it's great to look at some momentum, right? Because we were kind of breaking out at the beginning of the week and we had like 3 profitable trades on a Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Taking advantage of this. It was actually short that we took advantage of it, a small trade. Tuesday was a long, Wednesday was a long. But keep in mind, that does not mean that, oh, we break trend, so we are going to go to the moon right now. We're going to go to 4,500, right? No, no, no. We're still inside of this range. So I did take out the lows, so if it would break out higher, that would be amazing. Keep in mind, we will face some resistance at the 61. As well. Another thing is just that you can just buy here. Let me just buy here and then hope for the best. Hope for the breakout. Some people that I know, what they do is they do this, for example, right? They see the range right now at the moment. They know that we're at support. We are at support, clearly, right? There is no doubt. So we are the low volume node. So they then buy, let's say, whatever, 0.5 lots here. If things go downhill, right? And they take a hit of, I don't know, 100 pips, they lose $500, $600. They take it, then they look for longs again here. Okay, and they go for the next wave, for example. If they're right, what they will do is then they would wait for the breakout and they would add on to the trade. And then they have an average order of there, right? 1 lot total, average order is in the middle. And then you're in a better position already. So I do get it. I do think it's a bit risky in this condition right now at the moment to do that this way. Look at the order flow as well. We see a lot of selling. That's for sure. Not much follow through though. I'm not convinced. Let's see where this 5-minute closes, or 50-minute closes. Sorry, it closes in 1 minute or 2 minutes. One thing I don't really like, and that is the fact that, oh, there we go. Okay, the dollar is already pulling back. Oil is already, wow. I was like, oil is pulling back. No, oil is not pulling back. Oil is just selling off. Would I buy at the 20s? Yes, I would buy at the 20s, yeah. But that's something that we don't have to think about right now. Gold doesn't want to go down, huh? It doesn't want to leave it. It doesn't want to break down. It doesn't want to break down. Nope. We're going to close this candle right now. Okay, a lot of sellers here stock. People were shorting the bottom. A lot of them. Look at that volume. 1.6k contracts in this opening candle on the 15-minute. Most volume was traded at the bottom. You see that? There's no volume here. And then here, all the volume. And then inside of that, the most volume is traded there. You see that? At the low volume, not at the bottom here. It's still absorption. There is still absorption right now. Shall we go long? Shall we give it a try? I think I want to give it a try. Keep it very small risk today. Like very small risk. We're still in the value area. We're at the value area low. We're getting respected here. Okay. We are getting respected. I think we're going to go long, guys. I think I'm going to go long here. I think this absorption is a real thing. So I'm long right now at the moment. Okay. I am long. And I'm going to put myself very small today. Because we're in the range. Okay. But I do want to give this a try. I do want to give this a shot. Okay? I do want to give this a try right now. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. It looked like an absorption to me. I know we're inside of the value area now, but we are getting respected by the low. We are in a low volume node. And we did see a lot of trapped sellers at the bottom. A lot of sellers stepping into the market. I will be targeting the... I don't know, at least the point of control and then maybe a quick scalp, man. Maybe just a quick scalp. I don't know. We want to keep it very small. Let's see if it can actually hold up here now inside of this area. At least it needs to hold above that, above those sellers. In the order flow, we want to really hold above this. If we close below this, I'm cutting it immediately, right? It is a bit of a higher risky setup because of the fact that we are here. But it's either we're going to look for the breakout or we look at the bottom of this range. Looking at the absorption and trying. But it's a riskier one. But I'm still willing to give that a shot. Definitely. Wow, that's a large absorption again on both sides though. Look at that. Why is my chart stuck? Oh, there we go. The thing is, we did swap those lows, you know what I mean? We did swap those lows. Why did I enter? I entered because of the fact that we got absorbed at the bottom. And we're in the value area. We're getting respected inside of it still. Okay, we should not want to be coming down right now at the moment here. I think this is a good moment to put our stops and break even inside of a range. We're not going to play it very... this is very aggressive, by the way. This is very aggressive. It either goes now or it does not. So stops on break even here. Let's see if we can do it. I know you want to. Nah. Yeah, it was very aggressive because we're inside of the range. Okay. Come on, just flip it. If this flips, then it's game over. Why do I put my stops in break even? Because we're kind of in the VWAP here. We're struggling at the VWAP. I'm just taking really advantage of these sellers there. And that's why I couldn't really hesitate. Couldn't really hesitate for this setup. Sometimes you have to just do it. And have to give it a try, at least give it a shot. Right? If it doesn't work out, it's okay. Okay, unfortunately. It was worth a try. An initial try though, let's be honest. Because this could have easily been a continuation here after that absorption. But inside the ranges, I cannot take any like unnecessary risk or something like that, even though I like it. Even though I like it. Okay, we had to do it. We had to give it a shot. We had to give this a try, regardless. Can this still hold? If you want to put your stop, you can put it at the bottom, at the 39 or the 40. Okay. Put it at the 40s. Okay. And then you target at least the 450. If you want to go for a quick scalp and you want to hold on to the trade, then stop loss at 40, target 50. That's it. Okay. But this was an internal absorption type of setup. You want to see the immediate breakout though. That's what I like to do. Is you want to see the absorption. You swap those lows right there. You want to create that close on the 15-minute. You want to see sellers stepping in, getting rejected. And then you want to see the flip. The bullish flip. Immediately. Straight up. With a lot more volume. Dollar is dropping. Yeah, dollar is dropping. Oil is dropping. But it doesn't really affect gold now at the moment. That's the thing I don't like. But that doesn't mean we'll not hold the support here. We'll hold support here, I think. Could be. Yeah. Point of control is a target. This is just we're just scalping internally right now. Okay. because it's probably going to be another like balance session here. If you want to hold on, then this is the range you need to trade. And the point of control is what you target, the 50. You can take profits there and then you can let it go. In our case now, I would say either wait for the breakout above the point of control and then the continuation, which is also very, very nice. If you leave the value area, in general, you have a really good continuation play as well here. Yeah. $1. $1. Yeah, it's still holding. Holding the sells is advisable. I mean, follow your own rules, my friend. I cannot give you any advice on your setups. If you say I'm into sells, then you have probably a good reason for it, right? We are just looking at, we're more into, like on the stream right now, I'm more into longs at the moment. But that should not affect your decision, you know? Today event, Shanghai Bank in China announced today, July 24th is the deadline for converting and closing all leveraged transactions, especially paper gold, for real investments in gold. Yeah, I heard about that, yeah. I heard about that. It still doesn't want to go. You see that? Gold doesn't want to go. I could have taken like a quick scalp, like a $200 scalp, if I wanted to in this case. Just get in, get out. Right, the point of control though is right here at the 49. I would still mark it out as an important level, the 49. And it could be a target. But inside of those ranges, I usually want to see like the big impulse. And then I hope that we usually find a way up. I take profits at the point of control immediately. And then if we see a breakout, we just take the trade purely from like a breakout anticipation standpoint, but not holding on for the breakout and not taking profits, because that would be stupid. So then it will be the 49. And then if you do breakout, then you have an amazing position, right? You have an amazing position. Why did I want to try to get into longs here? Number one, we took out the lows of the range. So we took that out. While we took that out, we saw people selling the bottom on the 15 minutes. You see that? So there's a lot of selling. This is like a lot more selling at the bottom here. You see that? So this is the last 15-minute candle of the 9 a.m. candle, or the 9 p.m. candle New York. And what you can see that in this candle right here, most of the volume of that candle was traded at the bottom. This is where the volume came in, at the bottom here. And then inside of that volume, the most volume at the bottom. And then if you look at were there more sellers or buyers at the bottom, 207 versus 149. It's all red. So that means there are more sellers at the bottom. Now then, you know, okay, there are more sellers at the bottom. So where does the candle close? Where the candle closes? The candle closed above those sellers. So that means there is absorption. And if there's absorption, you want to immediately get into a long at the bottom wick of the next candle. The problem is, because the VWAP here, right, you'll find resistance now. I mean, it can't seem to break higher. But that's why you can't be too, you have to be very aggressive with your management. You need to either scalp very small, like get in, get out, and that's it. Or you need to put your stop on break even the moment you tap into the VWAP. And that's what we did. So it was just a short try and nothing else. Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. A quick scalp in between. And you could see it cannot follow through now. And it just doesn't want to follow through here. So it was not worth holding, you know, holding on. You could have taken, I could have taken immediate profits at the VWAP, but yeah, it was such a short, smaller move. It was not really worth it. So yeah, we're already losing the momentum again. I think the VWAP is where that rejection is at, right? I think so. I think so. I think so. Yeah, somewhere around there. Even though it's impressive that it's holding, right? There is a reason why we're holding here. There is a reason why. Those sellers are stuck there. Truly says, I blew my live account. I hate Ripnik. What happened? What happened? What happened? What happened? Yeah, let's mark out this zone one more time. I mean, it was worth a try. When you see this, right? When you take those, when you take out those lows and you close above this on the 15 opening candle, it was worth a try for sure. It was worth a try. And then if this would have been, let's say, the bottom, and we would have gone to the point of control, we would have taken profits here. And if you then would have broken out, then yeah, you're in the best. You can chill. You're in the best position. But sometimes there are moments in the market where you just have to not hesitate and just say, fuck it. Just get in. As long as we know how to manage it, though. It is very impressive, though, how much we're holding here. Is this then the moment? Is this then the moment? We're going to go to the point of control. Yeah, the VWAP is serious level, man. That's the thing that's holding us back right there. I think it's around there. The 45. Okay, show us your setup screens. Yeah, Samsung Odyssey G9 Neo. I think my screen is already like 6 years old. And it's still one of the best screens for me personally. Like I would never, I don't even know I would change this. I don't even think that I would change this. It is so freaking good. And it's already so old, but it's so good that I really don't need anything else right now at the moment. Wow, strong resistance at the VWAP. That's why. Look at that. I mean, yeah, it could have been a quick scalp, get in and then get out at the VWAP, but like, yeah, $200 scalp. Could have been like that, but I don't think we even would have had time to react to this as a group, as a community here. Would have been very tight. Right now, it cannot make up its mind, that's for sure. Yeah, I'm starting to buy as well lower, higher breakout buys. I would not be into sales at the moment. Maybe, to be honest, if we would now leave the lows here and we would close below this low and we would actually leave the range, because that means we would leave the fair value of this range here. It might be the impulse move to the downside, but for now, I think the point of control is a target. If you hold here, that is a target. So if you are quote unquote still in the trade and you say, I want to hold this, I want to risk this VWAP resistance, and you entered there with me at the bottom, and you have your stop loss here, then you can target, or around there, then you can target the point of control as a part of a take profit, and yeah, it maybe does break out. If you close above the VWAP, it's very positive. It's very strong. But there's a lot of resistance at the VWAP. Yeah, next week will be a messy week, right? Oh, there we go. Is this going to be the breakout? Anyways, next week we have the consumer confidence, FOMC press conference. What else do we have? The PC price index, right? So we have a lot of red folded news. And next week is, of course, also, I think it's also on the 29th, right? That is also the contract. Indeed, you're right. It's also when the contracts close, the expirations are. So it's going to be next Wednesday is a day where you have to be sharp. You have to be a sharp trader, a sharp individual. I'm not going to be there next week. You guys know that already, right? I'm leaving I'm going to fly in like 4 hours. My plane goes. Okay. So I'm gonna leave in 4 hours, and I have 1 week off. My first week in this year from the streams off. Okay. So my holiday is like this: 1 week off this week, next week, and then somewhere in Christmas, in December, obviously, when the market is like flat, anyways. So we deserve it after 86 straight episodes. What do you think? We grew our account. We just did our challenge since June. We do everything transparent here on this channel. We show our entries. We show our progression. We make our videos that are free. They're not even on my YouTube channel. They are private videos around the volume profile for education purposes. So we have a book that you can study, the LT Concepts Trading War Map. You can study my book that I've written for you. You know what I mean? A lot of things to cover. A lot of things to go through. Okay? An ecosystem. An ecosystem. Okay, well, it's impressive that that gold is still pushing through the VWAP here, but at the same time, I don't think it's the 15-minute. Yeah, the 15-minute. How's the elite fam doing? Yeah, ask the elite. I think they're watching right now in the group. Their first impressions of the new group as well. We're working with them right now. Okay, well, it is going. Okay. Okay, so if this was indeed the scalp and we managed to break above the VWAP, which you are doing now, you want to see the closure in 2 minutes. Then the next target is going to be the point of control, which is at 49. And then we need to break above the value area. Yeah, a lot of money to make for sure on one lot. Yeah, we always trade one lot. I think every trade we took is one lot on this account. We don't take under that. We don't take lower than one lot. One lot, one lot, one lot. Oh, 0.5 here. Once. Funny that is then it's so ironic, right? The 0.5 lot size is the biggest trade. How ironic is that? $2,340. Obviously, of course. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna take a little bit lower risk here. 0.5 lot size, right? Boom, biggest trade. Yeah, that's how it goes. Wow, okay, now it's going. Okay, well, at the point of control, I would say, especially the very high point of control, this area right here, if you still held on to the trade, which I don't think many of you did, but some of you guys did, for sure. I would still take profits regardless. I would not, I would still take profits around this area. At least wait for the price to reject a little bit before you do, but yeah, we closed above it as well. So it did actually help. Our zone actually did help right there. That absorption is a real thing. The VWAP was a bit of the issue here. But selling was out of the window. We already knew this beforehand. We were not looking into sells. Sorry. Yeah, this is a very good take profit point. And then for us right now, I would say we have to leave the value area. That's it. Because if you swap the lows and you break out, then that's actually a very good confirmation for another continuation in case we do manage to close above the value area high, which is the 51. And it makes sense that it's a 51 because this is exactly where we got rejected at. This area right there. Same thing, an absorption of sellers at the bottom. This is why initially I went long here. You had an absorption of buyers at the top here. You see that? It's very similar. But that needs to be broken. That needs to be broken for us to continue. And that's why taking profits here is important, in my opinion, because you're in a range. You're in a range. Still in a range until that moment. What is it indicator? This is called the Stealth Valuation Index. It's going to be very important later on. Okay, for now, not necessarily that. But we're going to give away access to it today. If you guys want to. I want to give it to around, 5 to 7 people. 7 people. 7 people. Okay. I want to give it to 7 traders today on the stream. Before I leave to Spain, before I fly to Ibiza, yeah. Before my holiday. I don't sell this. I don't sell it at all. No need to sell it. Okay. Well, I do hope you took profits. In case you guys were in the trade. As long as you're in the value area, which I marked out right now as this box, I think the profit taking is a good thing. Okay? It's a good thing. Why we're not looking for sells? Main reason why we're not looking for sells now is because of the low volume mode of the current week. Okay, so we have pretty much 1 full week of trading. Okay, we have the Monday, the Tuesday, the Wednesday, the Thursday, and already almost the Friday now. So there's a lot of trading days, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This is all data, right? A lot of volume, a lot of volume, a lot of volume, a lot of volume. So you can see that the low volume node is a beautiful area. And I actually made a video about this already. It's in lesson 2 in Telegram. Right there. Okay, you can find it, click on it. Yeah, so you can learn about the low volume nodes, why we're holding here. And then inside of this area, we created a new range. Now, this is what we call now the value area of that range. Okay, and it is actually the value area low to the value area high. Now, what happened? We swapped those lows and we respected it. But because we're trading inside of the value area, you need to be very, very sharp with your management, because this can happen like that. Like, this is why I'm telling you, like, over and over again, is to take profits if you can now around here, or to be very sharp with your break even. But to take profits quickly, because as long as you are inside of the value area, high and low, and you're in between it, anything is possible. You can also flip bearish, okay? Yes, the absorption here, amazing. Same thing for the absorption there, okay? Great. That's why we're getting rejected there. But that means you need to take profits. If you held onto it and you had the balls to hold on, and you put your stop loss below, then you need to take profits there, right? We mentioned it many times, because you can't anticipate a breakout until it actually happens. And it would be very sad if you actually were holding on to the trade and then still didn't take profits, right? So the only next setup that I could find now, which I think would make sense, is leaving the value area high and low and actually closing outside of it. That is the only logical move here that I would look for right now. Right? Unless we do something crazy, like we break down again, we take the lows and we do the same thing here. But we can give it another try. But that is another option. But for the rest, so break out of the value area, or another sweep of the lows. And again, same thing. A lot of sellers at the bottom, a lot of sellers stuck in their trade here, and then immediately going long against them. That's the only way. Oh yeah, it was worth a try. It was worth a try, definitely. Hey man, couldn't find the future scope indicator. Is it public? It is not public. Yeah, now the VWAP is going to turn into support here, right? Look at that. Now it's the VWAP. But I'm not a big fan personally of entering inside of the middle of a range, because it doesn't give me the risk to reward that I'm looking for, right? Because then I have to take profits here. Or if I would go short, I have to take profits there. That's just too small for me. It just doesn't make sense for me right now, right? And it's also a bit on the riskier side. So I prefer to then, if I would trade the range like we did today, we tried at least. Without success, but we tried. Then I would have only taken it there. Or I would have taken it there, right? That's it. So if you have the question, how do you trade a boring market? Absorption. Spot the range, mark the fair value of the range, and trade the extremes. Right? That's kind of the idea of a boring market. So, you know, it's not that we don't have to take any trades on boring times. Yesterday, the reason why I didn't take a trade yesterday was just because the fact that we took 3 good trades, and we had a Monday winning trade, a Tuesday winning trade, and a Wednesday winning trade. And yesterday, I could sense the market was just so trappy during Asia. It was just not, something didn't click in terms of the way it was moving. And I'm very happy we stayed out. Very happy we stayed out yesterday. Toka, we're going to leave early, but I'm still not slept from yesterday, but enjoy your vacation. I will speak to you on a Monday. I appreciate everything. Yeah, man. I see you on Monday's 6 p.m. session. 100%. It was a trap you didn't want to sell. That's also true. Maybe that's also right. Maybe you are correct. The problem is I don't like to sell inside of the value area at the range support there at the bottom. Personally, okay? The moment we left it in London and we closed below this, different story. Yeah, wow. And we're back again. And we're back at the lows again, pretty much. So yeah. I hope the people that actually entered or held onto the trade like we didn't. We broke even, but the people that held on, I really hope you did take profits. And I hope you see now that the importance of taking profits is a real thing inside of a range. Because it's so easy to think that, oh, when price does this and it shoots up with so much volume, that it's gonna go to the moon right now. And then you don't take profits, and then you're back at your entry again. And that's like the worst feeling in the world. Like, I'd rather break even early than being up $1,000 here, not taking profits at the top of the range, and then coming back to my entry. Yeah, I think it as well was a rejection at that same zone, right? Or wasn't it? Let's see. I think it was. Yeah, right there. Gonzalo, my man, take care. And thank you for attending this. And I'm going to do my absolute best this upcoming Monday for yourself. Wow, look at that. Can't believe we're trying to take it out right now. Push it higher. Yeah, back at that same level, my friends. Yeah, wow. Could have I taken profits there at the VWAP? Yes, I could have had. Could have held it on to there. Yes, I could have. Was it risky to hold on to the trade? Yes, it was risky with the VWAP in the middle. Holding price down because we came down with a lot of volume here. Before that, it was right there. We came down with a lot of momentum. But anyways, it was worth a try, definitely. For the rest, it's just a ping pong market. At some point we have to leave it. You would say so, right? At some point you have to leave this range, the fair value. But yeah, anyways, that's how we trade ranging markets. When the market is clearly ranging and when it's very clear, we just utilize that, right? If it's so flat, that's how we trade the ranging markets. Wait for the flip, the manipulation of it, of something like a sweeper, and then the reclaim, and then the reaction. And we do take profits. We do absolutely take profits. It's super important. We might as well just stay ping-ponging here, to be honest, guys. Because the problem is right now that we did close below the VWAP again. And we're getting supported by our same zone again, which is those sellers at the bottom. With 1.6k contracts. Huge support, by the way. But the VWAP is that resistance, so. Shady says, thank you very much for everything. I learned a lot with you. Have a good week off. Well deserved from Canada. Good night, my friend. Have a good sleep, I guess. Canada, right? Yes. Have a good sleep, my friend. Take care. What a barcode, indeed, it is. Yeah. But anyways. Nothing has really changed since we tried to long here. It's still the same freaking area. It's still the same zone. Same zone. What is this white line? That white line is kind of like the VWAP right now. That's why we're holding that resistance there. Why are you looking at longs? The main reason why we were looking at longs, or why we took a long, was just because of the fact that we are ranging, okay? We came down significantly. We are entering the bottom of a range again, okay? So I don't like to look at myself. I'm not a big fan of looking at higher highs and higher lows. I talked about with my group yesterday. I think it's very tricky to understand higher highs and higher lows, because in a good market condition it makes sense, right? Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, lower low, lower high, lower low, right? That makes sense in a good condition. But the market in general doesn't work like that. The market tends to do something like this, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low, lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low, higher high, lower low, right? Balance to unbalance. So it goes from balance to unbalance, okay? Unbalance, balance, okay? We're in balance. We're in a balance zone on the higher time frame. If we can conclude that we're in a balance zone on the higher time frame because we haven't broken the June lows and not the monthly highs, okay? We are operating here. We're operating inside of a range. Okay, that's it. I don't care if we're in a downtrend now. Yes, we are. I agree. But we're still in a range. Because we have not been breaking these levels. We're in an area of balance. Okay? That means in an area of balance, we buy at the bottom. And we try to sell at the top until we make a move. We make a direction. We create a direction. Okay? Either we break down and we close below and we continue. We break out, we continue. Inside of this, I will always be more keen to buy at the bottom and sell at the top. That's it. Now I'm waiting for the big move. The breakout, where we go from balance back to maybe unbalance, right? But when is that? Is that gonna be today, New York session? Is it gonna be next week? Contract expirations or the FOMC? At some point we will break out and we'll make a decision. For now, let's just not focus on that and focus on what makes the most sense. And that's just trading the extremes of the ranges, okay? And that's it. And then internally speaking, understand that we had a huge expansion, a huge retracement, okay? And that inside of this volume profile, because on the lower time we use the volume profile, we are in a low volume node. Wow, we have a whole lesson around this, how to mark it out, why it works, etc. I don't have to explain this. But inside of a low volume node, you can do two things. We can take the range itself and say, okay, we swapped the lows of the range. And we saw a lot of people selling the bottom. And we were therefore looking for longs. That was the reason why we looked for longs. Because that's what happened, right? A lot of people were selling here. And we left the bottom. We broke back above here. And we managed to hold on to it. And we're actually still holding on to that level right now. Until this moment. We're still getting respected at the bottom here. So if you are a degen, you can still long here and try to put your stop loss below those lows here, okay? Which is below the wick low right now at 40. You can still give it a try until you're invalidated, okay? If you want to. But at some point we have to leave it. We have to leave the range. And if it's down, I will be waiting and looking at the next level. And the next level would simply be the 21 or the 20. Why the 20? Because we will be dealing with a larger new range again, an area of balance again. So we're trading from an area of balance to an area of balance. That will be the next area of balance. Or in this case, on the higher time frame, it will be considered an 8-hour demand zone. Or a higher time frame demand zone right there. A rally or a drop-based rally. Right? Right there. So inside of the lower spectrum of the range, okay, this is the higher spectrum of the range, we'll have an area of demand right there. Inside of that area of demand, we have a range, a balanced area. We use the volume profile. Now, the 21 gives us a level. Okay, so that's another level I will be looking for. But because we're holding in this low volume node, it could easily be that this just holds right now. And we're going to try to trade a barcode for the next session, right? Just being in this range and just constantly be hovering around. Try to trade to the point of control again until we finally decide to break out of the range, which is the value area of this high and low, and then actually make a pullback, right? Something like that. If we leave it, yeah, we might come as well down towards this area. But internally speaking, there's a lot of absorption still, right? So up to there. But the longer you're hovering around, the riskier it gets. That's why we entered right away after the absorption. After the seller stepped in right there with that amount of volume, right? But it doesn't mean we cannot just hold it. But for the next logical move here, I would be patient. Either buy here and then put your stop loss below if you want to risk it. If you don't want to risk it, you need to break out of the value area first. And what do I mean with that? You need to close above or below the most volume. So forget about the lows and forget about the highs focus on the value area, which is the highlighted blue zone. Okay, that's what matters. This area right there, the blue zone. Yeah, let's do it again, I think. Yeah. Donald Trump live. Trump's new stunning announcement. Is that real? Why are we getting rejected here? Yeah, VWAP. Of course, this white line is like the VWAP right now, and that's why I put it there. But you have a lot of absorption at the bottom from those sellers at the bottom right there that we talked about. We just showed you guys. So that's why. If you close above this again, there is a most likely scenario that you're going to go up again. And then we're going to get to the point of control of that level again, the 49. And we just keep chopping around there. Yeah. So what do I want to do? I think I want to give away the access to the self-valuation index. Okay, the ranging market right now on the lower time, it's not as important, as relevant. I mean, it is. You can still look at it right there, but there's not a lot of momentum, a lot of volume. Okay, so what you then do is you do and to turn it into 50, then it is. Then you see the importance of it. There we go. And this is an indicator we use a lot during the macro markets as well, not just on the lower time frame. Okay. And we have been using this a lot. I've been using this a lot for my timing, for my setups here, just purely from a perspective of finding the right timing of my trades, right? This was a good example. This one right there was a bottom. This one right there was a nice range, even though you're in a downtrend, right? You know when price will probably stall. This was a nice bottom. This was actually the low, right? Same thing happened there. Same thing happened there. So it's rarely that you see that this low right here represents what we call a bottom, right? Or a top, sorry. It's better to enter when you're undervalued than when you're overvalued against the dollar. Okay, so I've measured it against the dollar. Look at that overvaluation, overvaluation, overvaluation. Okay? So that's something that we're looking for and that we use this for a lot. And you will see we have been taking so many trades with this on the streams with other confirmation, of course, not just the indicator itself. Crazy, right? So we're going to utilize this. It's actually something that works like this. You put it in, you type in the dollar index, so dollar index, right? Or DXY. You click on it, and then it shows you it against the dollar. Some people use it against oil, okay? Sometimes it works against oil too, but it depends on the context of the market. Usually the dollar is enough to look at it. Dollar and the 10-year yield. If you really want to do this around the FOMC, you change it to the 10-year yield, okay? You go there, and that's it. So it's the RSI on steroids. I always like to call it like that. The RSI on steroids. So I think I want to give away a couple access right here, okay? In like 10 minutes from now, 5-10 minutes from now. Because I doubt, to be honest, that we're going to break out of this range now at the moment, okay? So unless you're willing to buy, like we talked about at the bottom here, according to this absorption, and you want to take profit there, then that's something that you can do. But outside of the value area, I think is where the big move will occur. And we just need to be very patient for that to happen. Okay? So I already give access to you guys right now. Already. In terms of the dollar, by the way, what's the dollar doing? The dollar is not looking that strong, doesn't it? Not that strong. It's definitely losing its momentum. Yeah. Okay, let me give access to some of you guys right now. Right? I like to do this on the stream as well. I think it's fair to show to guys here. We don't sell the indicator, you can't buy it. But I give access to it like once a week. To guys in the stream. The proud the supporters of the channel, which I really appreciate, by the way, guys. I'm really appreciative for everything that you guys have been doing on this channel. Well, we're doing our challenge on this channel right now, where we have our live account that we grew from a small account to a bigger account. Okay, we're doing our best to do this transparently and publicly. That's why I take as least trades outside of the streams, because I think that's also something that we were looking at. We started with around 6K. We are now at 20. Okay, and we started it in June 16. So a little bit over a month ago. Let's say 5 weeks ago. Yeah. So we're doing our best to keep things transparent on this channel right now at the moment, and only take trades around the stream, or at least discussed on the stream. So if you appreciate that and you like that, then please smash up that like button. I would highly appreciate that. That will help the channel grow as well here. We rocked the 150K this week. Okay. So I'm really grateful for you guys, and appreciative for everything that you guys have been doing, supporting the channel. And also, this is my first week where I will take a week off, a full trading week off from streaming, at least. And not from the elite, but from the streaming, because of the fact that I'm going to fly in 4 hours for my holiday, seeing some family. Okay. And it's the only week, I think, this year until Christmas time, until December-ish. Okay. All right. Let's put your username in the chat, please. We're going to give access to some of you guys right now. Around 70 people have access to it, I guess. 70. It's not many. So let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. 7 guys. Big Wicco. I love it. Big Wicco. Big Wiggo. Judef, I saw. Judef. 1998. Okay, Judef. 1998. Done. Done. What else? Who else? Who else? Dog NN. Dog NN. I can't find that. Can't find that. No, can't find that. Can't find that. Urasenka? Urasenkia.org. Argentina or what? Okay, done. Paul. Mr. Paul. Chile. Done. Love it. Awesome, Paul. Amjad. All right, Amjad. Ali 5611. Ali lowest score. Sorry. There we go. Okay, last one, my friends. I don't know if it was 7, by the way. TC. Okay. TC 223. Done. Perfect. We do it again next week when I'm back. Okay. We'll do it again. We're going to keep doing this as well here. So no worries. Your time will come. And at some point I will come and think about what we can do with this indicator as well. Because many people have been asking for this. And I don't like to sell this. You know what I mean? No need to sell it. Just to give it away and stuff. Yeah? All right. Perfect. In terms of today's range, I've tried to get into a trade at the bottom here. You know what happened, right? No drawdown pretty much, but no follow through either. We did eventually came out higher, but I think it was a good way of managing the trade from my perspective. The VWAP held as resistance. We did broke out. Some of you guys, I think, held onto it. I did hope you took profits there. I really hope you did. Because it will be an annoying situation when you come up so much in the range and you get all the way down again. And then you get stopped out on break even, or you make even no, you would not have a loss because we never broke the lows. But you could have made some money, right? You could have made some money there if you held onto it and you didn't take profits at the top. Take profits in ranges. Okay, I really do. It just helps. Just take profits at ranges. Smaller ranges, bigger ranges, right there. That's it. Take profits. Okay, the breakout comes when the breakout comes. It's better to take profits, wait for the breakout. You're still in a position, you pull back, you re-enter, boom. Now you have an average position. That's it. You took profits, you break out, you retrace, you re-enter with confirmation. So much better, right? That's why taking profit is so important. Okay? That's it. All right. Anyways, still want to go one more time into the market right now. Yes, we are holding at support here. Gold refuses to break higher, but it also refuses to break down. We're kind of in a very small, like compressed area. The only way you can trade the ranges is what we did, pretty much. The other way would be you wait for price to leave the value area. Okay, you leave the box, the high volume zone, which is this area right there, the blue box, and you look for the continuation. Okay, you look for the continuation. In this case, potentially higher. If you break higher, great, you can target the 61. And if you break the 61 and you get accepted inside of the value area of this area, this range, from the swing high to swing low, then you can target the point of control at the 90s. But you need to then, of course, break out of that area first, which is right here above the value area high, which we haven't done yet. So anything internally is just trading the range, scalping the range pretty much. That's it, nothing more. If you leave it, you target the 61 as your TP and then the 91. But if we come down and we break down, okay, the problem with if we break down is that we are in a low volume node. So we have a lot of random price action happening at usually these type of areas. And it could easily be that you hold support here and it gets tricky and this turns into like a larger manipulation, right? For like a move to the upside. So be careful when you actually are in this box right here, because it could be that you could just create a manipulation, an absorption, because you fill that auction, right? That filled auction, that inefficiency of the low volume node, and then price just comes up again. So I'm very careful with shorting the market today, okay? I'm very careful with it. If price decides to come down all the way, I prefer to wait patiently for the 20 to be hit, and then I will definitely go long at the 20. If we break out, I will wait for the breakout, the retracement of the value area, and I would definitely look for longs. 61 is my first target, and 90 is my second. Okay? Internally, all up to you. You can scalp the ranges at the bottom. Always trade the extremes, never trade in the middle. It's the #1 rule. The risk to reward does not make sense because you cannot anticipate breakouts until breakouts occur. Okay? Macro one more time. Last time, I'm going to repeat this. But when people are super bearish, okay, the only thing that you have to share with them is don't forget that we are operating inside of a range on the higher time frame since June, the mid of June. You have a bottom of the range, you have the top of the range. That principle that we just showed you, okay, on the 5-minute time frame is the same principle on the 8-hour time frame or on the daily time frame, right? It's the same principle, right? The bottom of the range, we see a lot of sellers entering at the bottom, we get absorbed. We see a lot of sellers or buyers entering the top, they get absorbed, right? As long as we are operating inside of this area, we have to conclude that we just have to trade both sides. I'm long and I'm short. I don't really care, okay? At some point, we'll get a breakout. And I think that if it's not this Friday, today, it will be probably the FOMC, okay, next week. Because we have the contract expiration of futures and the FOMC combined. We have to see some sort of climax. I'm very, very confident we'll probably see the major breakout happening and that there is a chance we'll stay in the range until then. But again, you never know. You never know, right? Until then, I'll just keep trading the ranges, the range highs and the range lows. And yeah, I will definitely look again if price continues to go up and we go to the 90s like we talked about. I will be looking at shorts again. Why? Because we created supply, we got rejected, we formed new supply, and we broke down again. So it's the same story on repeat until we break out of this larger range right there. Okay, guys, hope that makes sense so far. Yeah, like I said, inside of the range right now, not much to do except for buying at the bottom here and trying to target the point of control, and that's it. For the rest, I prefer to simply wait for now the value area to be broken and go for the bigger move today. That's it. Okay? Anyways, I'm going to take a week off, man, after 86 episodes. 86 straight episodes right there with 1 or 2 days off in between. 86 straight episodes. Okay? I'm going to take 1 week off in this summer. I'm still going to do a lot of work inside of my group and stuff, but on the streams, I will be flying out in around 4 hours. And I will be back the week after. And that means that from that moment, we're going to be streaming until the end of this year, which is going to be December. Okay? So, yes, a full week, a full second part of the year ahead of us still. Give your boy 1 week. Okay? Give your boy 1 week to do his thing. And then we'll get back on track, okay? And we'll get back into the daily trading. We're gonna continue with our account. We're gonna continue to grow our account here. If I see trades and if I decide to trade inside of the week, I will post updates in Telegram, like we already have done with the, the previous journaling. Okay, we will be talking about it inside of the Telegram group. If you want to keep in touch with me throughout this week off, then Telegram is the way to go here. I will probably post a video of lesson 3 as well next week, early next week, around the volume profile. Lesson 1 was the difference between time-based and structured-based volume profiles. Lesson 2 was the low volume nodes. Where are we reacting from right now? The low volume node, right? That's why we're bouncing here. So watch that video if you want to learn about that. And then we'll have a lot of things to discuss once I'm back. Okay? Hope it makes sense, my friends. All right. Hey, thank you guys. Appreciate you all for this session here. I had an amazing week with you guys, actually. We had no losing trades this week. We had a Monday win, Tuesday win, and a Wednesday win. Thursday, no trade. Today, indeed, the break even. But I think I gave you a lot of good context, to be honest, for what's coming or what's happening at the moment in the market. So I think you will have a good foundation. I really believe so. Okay. Much love, fam. I really love you guys. Thank you for the support as always, yeah? I'll see you guys when I'm back. Thank you. Appreciate it.